Maybe you just needed this reminder today. Maybe you needed this reminder this week or this month or this year, this season of your life, that everything always works out for you. That even when it doesn't feel like it's happening in your favor, that behind the scenes, it really is working out for you. If you look back over your life, even the things that seem to be moments where it was going the opposite way than what you had planned or what you had desired, the end result ended up being something better than what you could have ever imagined. I think that so many times in life, we become so fixated and focused on what we want to control, who we want to control, the circumstances, the situations, that when they venture off from the path of what we had identified in our head that we wanted it to be, we can become frustrated. We can become aggravated. We can allow the emotion of something that seems to not be working for us. We can allow it to make us feel like it's working against us. And the truth is that everything is always working out for you. There are so many times where our lenses are changed because of what's happening, our lens of our life. We can have a fixated future on knowing that we are meant for more or made for better. And then we can become stuck. We can become detained in a place of wonder and in a place of question. We can become stuck or fixated on this idea that things are not moving fast enough, or we're out of time. We're maybe late, that maybe we should have accomplished more than what we have. But the truth is, you are right where you needed to be. You are planted right where you are supposed to be planted, and everything is happening just as it is written for your life. And you will always win. You will always win, even when it doesn't feel like it. You know, a few months ago, I was in this season where I was becoming critical of various things that were around me in my life. Super critical. And that took a lot of weight on my emotions. It would cause me to be happy some days, and then some days it would cause me to be aggravated or frustrated. Some days I found myself being sad because things weren't looking the way I wanted them to look. And I realized that a lot of what was influencing my feelings was listening to other people's conversations, other people's perception of my situation, of where I was and what was happening in my life. You know, sometimes you can have people around you with good intentions, and those people can have a vision for your life, whether it's family, whether it's friends, and they can influence the lens by which you see your own life with the circumstances that are happening around you. And this is when you have to begin to focus your energy and your time on thinking about what things are working. This is when you have to silence the noise of the people that are around you and put up those boundaries. Not walking away from people that truly authentically care about you, that are offering you their opinions, but sometimes just putting up boundaries and saying, hey, I know what you feel, I know what you see, but I'm focused on this. And when we can gain that type of power back in our life, and we can close our ears to any of those negative voices, we can change the lens by which we see our own life. I want you to think about how many times you have had a person in your ear that has shared their experience with another person or with another place. And so before you really give that place or that person a chance, you've already judged them by someone else's opinion. I want you to ask yourself, how many times in your life have you looked at your own life through someone else's lens? How many times have you wore the feelings and the opinions of someone else around you about your own life? How many times have you gone to share something, whether it is good news or whether it is something that you're working on, with someone who has a very limited view or a very limited hope? And so you share it with them, and they just can't see the vision the same way that you do. And so they begin to influence you by their own fears and by their own doubts. And you walk away from the conversation where you did have hope, where you did have the possibility, where you did see through one lens. You walk away and your lens has suddenly changed. While I don't believe that those people may all be evil, I believe that sometimes we have to guard what we say out of our mouths about our lives. Sometimes we have to guard the places where we are planted. Sometimes we have to guard the dreams that are in our heart. Sometimes we have to guard them with silence. And I know that that is probably one of the most difficult things, especially if you are a person that wants to share all of your love and all of your ideas with people around you. Sometimes it can become very difficult to operate in seasons of silence. But when you are moving in a direction where you have to change the lens so that you can see that things are working out for you, sometimes that season of silence will really serve you. Sometimes it's not that you're being mean. It's not that you're trying to be indifferent, but sometimes your future deserves your silence. It deserves you to protect it by not sharing it with everyone. There is another phenomenon that happens when you are trying to operate in the season where everything is working out for you. You will be distracted by these little foxes that come to destroy the vine. Little things, people's attitudes, people's rejection, people's inability to be able to fully give capacity to who you are as an individual. Do you know how many times I have been discouraged by people that were around me, that would frustrate me or would anger me or that would reject me? And when I look back at those people in those places, I realized that those people were never had the ability to go to the places that I am going. Not saying that there's something wrong with where they're going, but we have two different paths. And sometimes you can have people that are around you, that are surrounded by you, that just don't have the capacity to receive all of who you are. And God protects you. He protects you by allowing them to act indifferent around you, by allowing them to reject you. Otherwise, you would become stuck there as well. And you would only go as far and as high as what you see them go. When you are called to a different life, when you are called to a higher calling, you're not going to be received by everyone. When you are called to a higher calling, there are going to be people that are going to be intimidated by your presence. There are going to be people that are going to be frustrated by your positivity. You would never imagine that there are people that are frustrated by positivity, by people who put positive into the air. And when someone knows where you're going and who you are, you're going to intimidate someone who is unsure about themselves. And what you cannot do is wear their feelings about you on yourself. Someone that does not have the capacity to see the value of who you are as an individual. How many times have you been in a relationship with someone that did not have the capacity to love you? And you kept trying to force them and to push them to see you for who you were and to love you how you needed to be loved. You were never able to do it, were you? The truth is, I believe that it's like that about most things, that when someone cannot receive who you are in the fullness of who you are, then it's not an invitation for you to try to prove your worth. It's not an invitation for you to waste your energy and your time trying to make someone see you. You just have to wipe the dust from your feet and keep moving. The direction that God is planning you and taking you to in this season, you don't have time to stop and be distracted with trying to prove yourself to people. This is the season where everything begins to work out for you. This is the season where clarity begins to rush into your life, where things become clear. The only way this is going to happen is if you lock into yourself. If you lock into the future that is planned for you and you don't allow the distractions, the little foxes, the lenses of other people's opinions to hold you back from the place that you were meant to be. As we go through this week, as we go through this month, as you go through the rest of this year, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to give yourself a chance. Even if giving yourself a chance means that you dismiss yourself from tables where respect is not being served, where love and support is not being served. That you no longer make apologies for getting up and saying, excuse me, I've got to go somewhere where I am valued, where I am recognized, even if it means that I have to spend a season alone. But whatever you do, you've got to give yourself this chance to see the goodness that is prepared for you. This is a season where everything is working out. And it's time to funnel your energy back on whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. Think on these things. I am hoping that today has been a real blessing to you, that you've realized that there's nothing that's stopping you besides maybe yourself, and that the future that God has for you, it really is there for you, and that all it takes sometimes is just realignment of the lens so that you can see things as they truly are. You being blessed, everything that you touch being blessed, everywhere that you go being blessed, every person that you encounter, you are a blessing to. Thank you, family, so much for following me, for subscribing. Excuse me. Thank you so much for every single follow, for every single share. Thank you for your love. I love you back just as much as you love me. And I believe that together we are changing the very narrative of our lives. And we are elevating and lifting up the vibration of everything that's around us. And in a world where things are looking daunting and every day there's something else that's coming out to trigger your feelings and emotions, I believe that there's a few of us that are just loving on purpose, being kind on purpose, and fulfilling our purpose. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all of your love, every last one of you. Thank you for those that have become a part of my prayer channel. If you're on IG, there is a prayer channel. I would just admonish you to go and subscribe to that. Every single day we are praying for specific things for your life and for your future. Thank you for every person that willingly gives from out of the abundance of what you have, and you sow or give and give your gifts. Thank you for every Cash App, for every Venmo, for every PayPal. Thank you so very much. You don't know how much it means every time I see your names pop up and I stop and I pray for you. This is going to be an amazing week, guys. Let's focus on what works. I love you guys. Let's have an amazing week. God bless you today.